Coming to you live from the historic Big Dome, the Araneta Coliseum, ABS-CBN Sports brings you the second round of Season 72 of your UAAP.
Defending champion Ateneo de Manila University showed enough resilience and end-game poise to edge its longtime rival and remain on top of the standings at the end of the first round.
Gets it to go! Boy, they needed that!
Now, with their main man less than 100% due to an injury, can the Blue Eagles find the resolve and continue their success in the second round? University of the East was bloodied and bruised as its bid for a comeback fell short during its last assignment in the first round. Now, with their top scorer and rebounder serving a one-game suspension, can the undermanned Red Warrior gain revenge against their first-round tormentors?
Hi everybody, this is the main event of your Thursday thriller. Both teams are hurting literally and figuratively. You just saw Al Husseini coming off a sprained ankle, and Ateneo was stretched for the first time this season in that overtime win versus De La Salle, while you see Elmer Espiritu with 11 stitches on his forehead after getting banged up in that loss versus FEU. This is the schedule, the main event of your Thursday thriller. Ateneo de Manila University taking on University of the East. That's the #1 team and the #3 team in the standings specifically. Hi everybody, thanks for tuning us in on Studio 23. Get it here and in high definition on Balls HD channel 166. I'm Eric Tepan with Coach Luigi Trillo.
Well, if you're Ateneo, how will you react after that game against La Salle? You have to understand, they were down 3 quarters and they barely escaped that La Salle game. And, you know, coming into the game, Rabah Al Husseini is injured. How will Ateneo react? On the other hand, for UE, you know, no Pari Llagas, they need this game. Let's understand the last time these two teams met, they played Rabah Al Husseini straight up, and they paid dearly for that.
Let's take a look at the team standings to give you a picture of how the teams fare as we kick off the second round of eliminations.
So there in your screens, Ateneo is in first place, tied with FEU, but they don't want to give it up. If they lose today, let's just say that an upset in the making by UE, they will drop half a game behind FEU, and they don't want that. They want to remain in the first place. But this is something that happened in the earlier game where La Salle got upset by Adamson. So La Salle now moves to 4-4, and it's a golden opportunity for the UE Red Warriors. Let's say they win today. That'll put them 1 game ahead of the Green Archers and half a game ahead of the UST Growling Tigers.
Here is our Selecta Corneto tip to top sarap comparative statistics between Ateneo and UE.
Well, Ateneo is more of a deliberate type of team. They like to set it up. They like to execute. They have a lot of weapons aside from Rabah Al Husseini. UE is more of an up-tempo team. That's why they average 75 points as compared to Ateneo 75. But one glaring stat here for me, Eric, is the rebounds. UE averages 47.4 a game as compared to Ateneo 40.6. We know UE likes to get those offensive rebounds. Llagas has been dominant there with Espiritu, but you know what? No Llagas today. Who can step up for the Warriors?
Or maybe the rebounding department could even out between these two teams. Who knows? Now, before we get to talk about these specific teams, let's first check out the first meeting between Ateneo and UE. That was July 16th, right here at the Big Dome.
Well, here, this was an interesting thing for me. This was one of the earlier games, and Ateneo, both teams that played Ateneo early, played Ateneo single coverage. That's FEU and UE. Rarely did they double Rabah, and Rabah erupted for this game. Afterwards, teams started getting smarter. They started double teaming Rabah, and that's why his numbers are down. But there on your screens, Eric, you know, it was a close half, 35-37. But once Coach Norman Black realized that they were playing, UE was playing the big man straight up, they went to Rabah and they pounded it inside. Key stat, field goal shooting, Ateneo 44%. Most of those were inside from Al Husseini. UE 29%. You know, big question still, how is Rabah? Is he gonna come to play with that sprain? We know that he can bother him. He's had that in the past.
All right, let's check out how Ateneo looks coming off that overtime win versus De La Salle. 2 players stepped up big for the Blue Eagles, and we're talking about Eric Salamat and Nico Salva.
Well, those two guys stepped up big. Let's understand, when your MVP comes down, you're expecting them to take a step down, but no. Ateneo responded to the challenge. I think it allowed them to move the ball a lot. Not too much pressure on Raba. It was stagnant when it was with Raba because he would pass, one shot. In the overtime, these two guys stepped up. Eric Salamat, solid 13.7 in the second half and in overtime. But this guy, Nico Salva, he had 8 points in the second half and he had that last basket to seal the victory for the Ateneo Blue Eagles over the Green Archers.
Very big-hearted young guys for Ateneo. Let's see if they step up big again today for the Blue Eagles. Now let's flip things over and check out the UE Red Warriors. You mentioned already that Pari Llagas will not be playing today. He was involved in that incident with Riel Cervantes of FEU in the first game of last Sunday's doubleheader, and he will be serving out that suspension today against Ateneo. What will UE lose today?
Well, you know, Commissioner Jolipa didn't think it needed a suspension. In fact, Coach Lawrence Johnson was surprised because, you know, in the earlier games, Camus and Ababu swung. But without this guy right now, he's a missing link for them. He is their tough guy inside. He complements Espiritu because he goes in and out. And you know what? He does the dirty work for this team. These two guys have really exploded in the past few games of UE. And without him today, somebody has to step up if Coach Lawrence wants to get a W and get the upset.
First-year head coach of the UE Red Warriors, Coach Lawrence Johnson. And the Red Warriors take on Coach Norman Black and the Ateneo de Manila Blue Eagles when we come back here on Studio 23.
Here's the starters for the defending champions, Ateneo de Manila Blue Eagles. At power forward, number 7, Nonoy Baclao. Shooting forward, number 11, Eric Salamat. Center, number 19, Raba El Husseini. Top guard, number 12, Kirk Wong. And at point guard, number 5, Jai Reyes. The head coach of the Blue Eagles, Norman Black. And now, starting for the University of the East Red Warriors. At forward, number 9, Elmer Espiritu. Shooting forward, number 21, Val Acuna. Center, number 16, Sean Ray Alabanza. At guard, number 7, Lucas Tagarda.
Ateneo has a totally revamped lineup, as actually Salamat, as announced by our partner, will be at shooting forward, while Al Husseini will still start at center. Now on the other side, Alabanza will get the chance to start today in place of the suspended Pari Llagas.
It looks like a matchup for Ateneo. They normally can start Buenafe, but Coach Norman Black opting to start with Kirk Long, maybe to put the clamps on Paul Lee.
And he did indeed initially alter that shot of Paul Lee. But going back to what we were talking about earlier, Luigi, regarding the 14.9 points per ball game and 9 rebounds per ball game output of Pari Llagas, how does that affect the chemistry of University of the East today?
Definitely, it affects it in a lot of ways. He brings a lot of poise and he brings leadership, and he's the one guy in UE that has the toughness. But like I mentioned, Coach Lawrence was surprised with the decision. Commissioner opted not for the suspension because he didn't hit anyone or punch anyone. The board came out and they decided that he will be suspended, and that is that. And you know, UE will have to move on, and you know, something positive to think about is the pressure is off also in a way. Obviously, you need Pari Llagas here in this game, but you know, they have nothing to lose right now because they are definitely the underdogs without their main center.
Good coverage by Kirk Long on Paul Lee as he again halts that play of the Red Warriors. Baclao, on the other hand, did not know whether he was going to back up or come for the pass coming from Kirk Long. Here's our clear precision stop from Clear Men No Dandruff just cool hair. Kurt Long just meshing beautifully in this defensive scheme by Coach Norman Black to limit the numbers and the effectivity of Paul Lee. But that time around, Paul Lee getting the better of Long.
You know, in the first round, Paul Lee one time was shut out. He only had free throws, but he stepped up in the next game. You know, a special player like this, every game, teams are coming out to try and stop him, and he finds a way. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see here in the second round how he adapts and tries to find a way to help out his team.
Salamat attracts the ball back to himself, but he loses it again for the second time in a row. Ateneo has yet to hit a bucket at the start of this game. Paul Lee. Espiritu going left, spinning away from Al Husseini, and the fadeaway is good for Espiritu.
This kid has really grown in terms of stepping it up. When he just came into the league, he was just a leaper. Now he's got a lot of moves, crossovers, spin move. He hurts you in all kinds of ways. And this is an interesting matchup, Eric. Baclao versus Espiritu, both wiry players.
Let's see how UE, or what type of mentality UE has coming into this game without Parillagas, as we go to our Samsung courtside update with Tiff Atendido.
Yes, Eric. The first round is indeed over, and landing in third place with 4 wins and 3 losses, the boys are back with a more positive approach and a more determined effort. Coming into this ball game from a big loss against the FEU Tamaraws, the boys were reminded to play their game from the moment they step at Araneta. Hindi yung pagtambak na dun lang tayo gaganahan. For today's game against the Blue Eagles, it is noted that Barry Iliagas is suspended and Elmer Espiritu has an injury, but this is no crisis for the Warriors. It's even a motivation and moment for the rest of the team to shine. We lost against Ateneo by 15 points last time. Coach does not want this big margin again. It's our time to win this game. Depends lang deny their shots, rebound, and communicate in the court. Eric and Luigi.
Well, thank you, Tiff. It's nice to know that you Red Warriors, you know, as a team, taking, you know, these challenges in a positive note.
You know, the nice thing about Coach Lawrence, he's very positive. And, you know, he may come into the dugout in the half, he may be down, but, you know, every time they come out of the half, they seem to respond in a way. Like that FU game, they were down big and then they responded. Now he's trying to, in a positive way, try to say, guys, you know, even without Llagas, we can still win.
Fresh 24 here for Al Husseini and the Blue Eagles. He gets it back on the high post against Alabanza. Fade away, and Al Husseini gets the lucky bounce.
And remember last year when Ateneo played LaSalle and Raba injured his ankle in the championship. He came out the next game and torched also LaSalle. So he's comfortable with that. I'm sure that he's done a lot of therapy in terms of getting ready for this game.
Ateneo trying to go for a 4-0 run here, and they succeed. All the 4 points of Ateneo coming from Raba Al Husseini. No numbers on the other end for the Red Warriors. Paul Lee did not push for a shot. Alabanza, not really known as an offensive player, loses the ball on the post against Al Husseini. Here's Long using the Al Husseini pick. Raba is hot today and wants to put in as many attempts in the first quarter as possible. Let's go to our Samsung courtside update now from Ateneo with Jessica Mendoza.
Yes, Eric, one of the first things Coach Norman Black emphasized for the Blue Eagles today was that they had to put up a good defensive effort from the get-go. He said that we haven't been playing the type of Ateneo basketball that we want to play, especially in terms of defense. Pushing the Blue Eagles to their full potential will be the work of the second round. Now, regarding injuries, Nonay Baclao is still a little bruised from last Sunday, but the PT said it's only enough to minimally affect his game. Also, it only took a little ice for Raba Al Husseini's ankle. He's been playing 100% since practice last Tuesday. Eric and Luigi?
Thanks, Jessica. Well, that's good to know that Al Husseini is 100% coming into today's game. As you see, Espiritu knock it in from just underneath the basket. Now, you see the hand of Baclao, the left hand of Nonoy Baclao, and it is heavily bandaged.
This guy, the last game, had 4 blocks. Count that, 4 blocks. He hurts you in so many ways. Interesting interview there on Coach Norman. We can discuss that probably after the timeout.
6-all, Ateneo UE, timeout from Samsung Imagination Live. Back here at the Araneta Coliseum for the main event of Thursday Thriller. Here's a maaasahan assist from PS Bank, Sip Dalang, and the finisher, of course, It's Elmer Espiritu, the veteran of the UE Red Warriors. Of course, JC Ital, Doug Kramer, former Ateneo Blue Eagles, in support of their team. He should be playing this season. James Martinez right beside Pari Llagas. Is that Albert Martinez? That's Albert Martinez, right?
Yep.
Now, going back to what you were saying regarding that report by Jessica earlier, Coach.
Well, no, it was interesting what Coach Norman said. He wants to get a good defensive quarter. I'm sure he wasn't satisfied in the game against LaSalle where they gave up a lot of points. They allowed guys like Joshua Webb to attack the basket. That's why probably he didn't start Buenafe. He started Kirk Long. But defense can translate to offense. And these are things that they have to stop if they want to really work on that transition offense.
Excellent move there by Paul Lee on our Smart Wilson replay. We're helping sports. Indeed, it was very evident in that game versus LaSalle. Ateneo's, especially interior defense, was almost non-existent. Joshua Webb kept just attacking the paint and getting points inside the paint to finish it with 26 points. And almost, you know, gave all the Ateneo fans a heart attack because LaSalle almost won it.
You can never say in a LaSalle Ateneo game, right? Even if the other team is not as skilled, they will come to play. And you have to credit LaSalle with the good basketball they've been showing in the first round. They've been actually, for me, honestly, overachieving. And different guys have been stepping up every game. As this guy, Acuna.
Wow. With a hand in his face, Val Acuna drains a three.
He is so confident. Remember that UP game in the first round where he hit a three-pointer to send it to overtime. They were down by 3 with 9 seconds left in that game against UP.
Al Husseini from about 15, and Al Husseini packed with confidence as well today, and he has 6 of the 8 points of the Blue Eagles.
And Alabanza cannot allow Al Husseini to catch and shoot. He's just too big and he's got such a feathery touch that you have to really come up and make him put the ball on the floor.
That is one of the main things it seems Luigi Ateneo will be missing without Pari Llagas, that body to take Al Husseini out of his comfort zone.
That physicality has Kirk Long. Where did that move come from, Eric? Harlem Globetrotter-like.
Wrap around and laying it in. Kirk Long.
Okay, the whole Ateneo gallery is up.
First basket for Long, who gets the start today in place of Brian Buenafe. Now Tagarda gets his first basket of the game.
Daredevil drive that time by Tagarda.
Now you've got to remember, as you look at Jai Reyes, get an express lane straight to the basket, that in the first meeting between these two teams, UE led by double digits in the first half.
Well, UE came out like a storm. And remember, the first 2-3 games of the Blue Eagles, they would come out always flat. And they built better. They've healed from that negative way of starting. But, you know, here, it's up and down.
Acuna stepping up. Trying to judge if he's going to put it up. Paul Lee instead tries a three. And Tagarda fouls Al Husseini.
That's great patience by Acuna that time. Normally you would have jacked that up, but now they're getting better shot selection. As where did this move come from?
That's our Powerade Hyper Player of the Quarter. Powerade Sports Drink. Drink up, power up, and sports is what you make it.
I could do that before, but not anymore with my waistline now, Erica.
I could say that as well, you know. I used to do that thing with the left and right hand. Al Husseini is at the line. Very good start for Al Husseini. 6 points, leading all Blue Eagles. There you look at Pari Llagas and James Martinez, who was supposed to play the season, but he, right before the season, he tore his ACL. He had to rehab it, get it fixed.
Well, Lingana has been stepping up for UE, but imagine if those two were playing for Coach Lawrence Johnson, how potent this UE Red Warrior team could be.
Lee on a foot race against Kirk Long, and he gets fouled on the way to the basket.
Rabas played exceptional here at the early goings of the first quarter, Eric. 7 points, 3 out of 3 field goals. Free throws though, 1 out of 4. So he could improve there.
That's our Jollibee Yum Doubles duo, or those are our Jollibee Yum Doubles duo candidates. Enjoy the best things in life between those two. They've got 9 of the 13 of Ateneo.
You know, Coach Norman will allow Long once in a while to miss those open shots because I think he appreciates the defense that Kirk Long brings to the Ateneo team. He doesn't make that many mistakes. He's a very basic and he follows the game plan. And you know, like against a guy like Paul Nee, you need someone like that to execute.
Although Paul Nee gets a rest for the UE Red Warriors, Montfort is on the floor, replacing Jai Reyes for Ateneo. Uses the Al Husseini pick, but Alamanza was right there for the show. Long, they swing it around. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Al Husseini from about 17. One and done with Elmer Espiritu on the defensive boards. Quick on the trigger is Val Acuna. And there's going to be a foul on Elmer Espiritu. First personal foul on Elmer Espiritu.
Well, Elmer has to pace himself because he cannot afford to get into foul trouble.
Definitely.
For the UE Red Warriors.
Timeout from Samsung. Imagination lives. Here's our tip-to-top player matchup by Selecta Cornetto. Tip-to-top, sarap.
You know what's interesting for Paulie and Eric Salamat, they were teammates in high school out of San Sebastian in the NCAA. And they have similar games. They both like to slash. They both like to, you know, split the defense or attack the pick and roll. Very smooth game both those guys have. Same haircut also.
At the line, one of the heroes of the Ateneo Lasal game, at least for the Blue Eagles, Nico Salva, seeing action for the first time today. Lingana is also on the floor to orchestrate the offense for the Red Warriors. Montfort is picking up Lingana. Under 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Espiritu, with plenty of time still on the clock, fades away. That's his patented move, and Espiritu with 6 for the Red Warriors.
Tough shot by Espiritu, and he's complaining to the ref. He's saying that Nico Salva had a hand in his face.
Montfort is struggling against the bigger Lingana and gets denied by Duran.
Coach Lawrence Chongson cannot believe the call was made. And he kind of sprinted to the sideline as that nice patented fadeaway jumper.
And if Espiritu keeps shooting as hot as that, Nico Salva is in for a long afternoon.
You know, the adjustment of UE, I feel, in this game is they know Ateneo doesn't like to press. Ateneo has a defense, they're very talented. Coach Norman likes to rotate 10 guys inside. They don't like to pressure. And UE is a very, if you think about it, very experienced team in a half-court set. And that's why they're up by 2 is because they've been out-executing Ateneo here in the first quarter.
But Montfort splits it, and it is just a 1-point deficit for the Blue Eagles. Acuna is bringing it down, guarded by Paco Nostria. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Studio 23. Get it here, and of course, on Balls HD channel 166. Lingana coming off the bench for the Red Warriors. A little sidestep jumper there for Espiritu won't work. Oh, open lane there for Salva, who dishes to Chua, but he was not prepared.
That's what they say with the big guys. You have to always have your hands ready. Every guard attacks, you have to be ready to get that drop pass. And Justin Chua, if I'm not mistaken, out of Chiang Kai-shek. And
there you see Duran trying to attack and gets fouled by Austria on our smart instant replay. We're helping sports. Coach Lawrence Chongson is rapidly substituting, especially in the backcourt. Now we have Rafi Reyes inbounding the leather from the baseline with Lingana in the backcourt.
Bandaying, Duran, these are guys he normally doesn't use. But you know what? That's a good ploy by Coach Lawrence. If you're gonna bring in new guys, you might as well bring them here in the first half rather than bring them into the third and fourth quarter when it matters most. You save your experienced guys for the end game so they can execute. You know, all UE has to do is keep it close and give them a chance to steal a game from Ateneo.
I stand corrected. It's Zamar who is in the ball game in the backcourt for Rudy Linganay as Chua picks up his first personal foul.
Zamar, son of Coach Boise Zamar, who one time coached UE also. He had players like James Yap and Paul Artadi and Nino Caneleta. There is the proud father. Now a fan of the UE Red Warriors, and I'm not mistaken, he also played for UE. So
2 for 2 for Zamar as Buenafe is in the ballgame for the first time for Ateneo. Buenafe is guarded by the much smaller Rudy Linganay. Buenafe forces the issue and picks up a Red Warrior foul.
Well, Linganay getting Buenafe. Obviously, Coach Lawrence trying to put a smaller guy, so Buenafe's crossover move will not work. But you know what? Buenafe is so powerful upper body-wise that marunong siyang bumitin. And he knows, for one thing, he knows how to finish his shot. As
Zay Reyes getting a rest after starting at the 1 spot for Ateneo. 2 for 2 for Ryan Buenafe, who really struggled defensively against Joshua Webb in the Ateneo LaSalle game. There's Duran trying to get back his own miss, and there's a tie-up on the floor between Buenafe and Asibar. Lawrence Chongson shouting out instructions. The ball possession will go to Ateneo. UE is still on top by 1 under a minute left in the first quarter here at the Big Dome, the main event of your Thursday Thriller. Earlier on today, Adamson Soaring Falcons broke that losing streak against one of the more formidable teams here in De La Salle University.
You have to credit Coach Leo Austria for a stand there. And, you know, most of their losses were very tight. It was just a matter of time. Obviously, they were down to the cellar at 1 win, 6 losses. And it's unfortunate you're measured on your wins and losses. But if you look past that, if you see the team is improving and they're following the coach and they're not giving up and they're executing the game plan, it's just a matter of time before that team will shape up. And true enough, I don't want to call it an upset because in the preseason, Adamson was right there, ranked higher than LaSalle, and right there with UE and UST.
Now, Zamar has been productive off the bench. 4 points, that's his first field goal, but he picks up a foul on the way to the basket.
Well, let's see if Zamar can continue the perfect free throw shooting of the Red Warriors at 6 out of 6. You know, Ateneo has been struggling in the free throw line, 7 out of 12.
And that strong power move by Zamar, brought to us by PS Bank. Simdalang maasahan, he could not knock in the free throw, but it's a 21-19 advantage for the Red Warriors against the Blue Eagles. Bantaying is picking up Buenafe. Salva from 15. UE can take the last shot here and set it up very nicely with 7 seconds and counting on the game clock. Zamar behind the back pass to Linganay. They kick it out. Zamar for 3. No.
At the end of the first
So ends
quarter,
the first quarter of action on the main event of your Thursday Thriller. The UE Red Warriors come out on top, 21-19 versus Ateneo. Now Al Husseini has come out hot from last game where he sprained his ankle. We were thinking, is he going to be 100%? Well, he's pretty good today.